me and Mark Hughes, we see eye to eye on a lot of things. And I just want to give you guys a reality check because Mark Hughes crunches the numbers. Again, for those of you who think that this movie is doing well, I've seen people circulating that this movie is doing well, Box Office Mojo doesn't have it right, etc. Mark Hughes, who's a guy that loves this movie, he's a DCEU fan. He loves what Zack Snyder does. He loves this movie. He saw this movie and he loved it. He had the harsh reality to hit you guys with, which I've been telling you guys, and he just confirms what I said. And he also tracks numbers. He's a business guy. He tracks numbers for Forbes. And of all people, Mark Hughes had this information to say. So Mark Hughes said that basically, this is what he had to say. I start breaking down the numbers. A quick but important note is unfortunately necessary first. Okay, he goes on to give a background, but he's just crunching numbers. He's just doing the mathematics. So let me just get to his mathematics here. Okay. That's where the story for Justice League is now starting to become clear. You probably heard YouTubers and fans pointing to Fantastic Beasts and Wait the Fam as a hopeful example of how Justice League is actually performing well. So the story goes anyway and has a chance to top 800 million worldwide. Beware of false hopes though, because the comparison is already deeply flawed to begin with, and now this weekend has shattered that wishful thinking. And basically, he's talking about how Thursday's box office looked. But basically, his prognosis is this. With roughly 750 million worldwide being the breaking even point for Justice League. Alright, a run equal to Fantastic Beasts will only result in 64 million supposed profit, which must then be split in half since the theaters keep about 40 to 50% of global ticket sales. Okay? If you think of that sort of result, major studios and investors find acceptable after spending years of developing a project, waiting for more than a year for it to be completed and released, and investing hundreds of millions of dollars to make it happen, then you need to think again. Alright? Because that amount's just pocket change. They wouldn't continue onwards with that. He goes on to give the high end and the low end figures, which are somewhere here. Here's his summary of his prognosis, which is somewhere here. Okay, so for the future, it's too early to know. Of course, the foreign box office could wind up higher than expected, with solid holds unexpected. If Justice League can hold 50% drops every week for the rest of its entire run, and if it remains in theaters for another 2 months, and if international receipts account for 70% of its worldwide kume instead of 60 to 60%, then technically the possibility for the film is to finish near 850 million. In other words, if everything stops going wrong and instead starts going well, it's possible for its best case scenario to be 850 million. But it looks like it might average around 730 plus or minus a million. Okay? The dangerous thing is it could end up at 700 million, or in the worst case scenario, 650 million. So this is his worst case scenario, 650 million, best case scenario, 850 million. Okay? In other words, Justice League, at the trajectory it's moving right now, it's not doing good at all. It's not going to get over Batman v Superman, and it probably won't even do better than Wonder Woman. In fact, it may not even do better than Suicide Squad. It might end up somewhere just between Man of Steel and Suicide Squad. That's what he's basically saying in the basis of its run. And that is because when we look at the evidence for Thanksgiving weekend as it begins, the estimate for it, Thanksgiving weekend, is $8,465,000 for Thursday. This is Thanksgiving weekend, folks. It's not supposed to have those kinds of figures. The only thing that was a little lower than it was Monday's figures. And people didn't go all day. People didn't have a holiday all day. So that's not a good prognosis. That's why when he crunched the numbers, this is what he got. Now, I've been saying that this movie, if the fans don't stop bickering this movie is going to be killed by the fans, the DCU fans. Why I say this is because critical bashing of a film or panning of a film has never affected the DCU. They still make their money. There are two major things about this film that we must remember. Its budget is really high. This is why it says no assessment here. Okay, it's very high. It's $300+ million. The second thing that you have to remember here. So for those people talking about how Justice League has made $200 and something million so far domestically, they're way out of their minds, because you can see Box Office Mojo is tracking it right as we speak. Okay, it's only 130 million, 131 million. The other thing is, like I said before, people who are being lackadaisical, sitting on their laurels, not doing anything to help this movie. They're also, when you be passive like that, it just leads to the outcome. But this movie has shown us that in spite of the darkness, we can still think of hopeful possibilities, as unlikely as those possibilities may be. Now, to change the trajectory of this movie, we, the fans who have seen it and love it, have to become more vocal than the people who are detracting from it. Not only that, but we also have to encourage people around us to go see the movie. And we also may have to also go see it as well. In other words, we have to fight for this movie. We, the small group of people or the big group of people that like or love this movie, now have to be proactive. We have to proactively promote this movie and proactively support this movie. And if we do this, we will succeed at getting over $1 billion. And I'm going to fight for this movie. I am going to fight for this movie. I am going to go down fighting. I'm not going to go silently into the night. I am going to fight for this movie. And if you're with me, then you are going to fight for this movie too. Share my videos on social media. If you got Facebook, Twitter, wherever, share my videos. The videos that are inspirational, I have a couple of them that you can check on my channel. Share them. Even share some of my spoiler videos so people can be enlightened about it. I'm also going to do an immediate spoiler discussion in the next couple of minutes. You guys can join me. It's going to be very brief though. It's going to be about 30 minutes, and we'll discuss again the movie and some of the topics in the movie. It's going to be very short though. It's not going to be a very long spoiler discussion. But the purpose behind it will be to again enlighten you guys on some of the things that this movie addressed. Okay? And also how it trickles down from BVS, from Man of Steel, from Wonder Woman. Okay? So we'll get into that. On that note, I want to stop right here. How many of you guys are going to fight for this movie? Let's fight. Let's fight. I'm not going to fight people. We're going to fight to make sure that this movie gets to its target. And the target it has to get through, believe it or not, is $1 billion. But you got to fight. And those of you who want to join me in fighting, it doesn't mean fighting other people. No. It just means having a plan. And our plan is a very simple one. It's going to be highlight videos, highlight good things about the movie, and encourage people and inspire people to go watch this movie, because when they see it, they'll understand. They're going to leave hopeful. They're going to leave happy. They're going to leave optimistic. And for the fans who are still speaking ill of this movie, we are going to continue to speak good, but don't fight with them. You enjoyed the movie. Don't fight with these people. Like Batman said to Flash, don't fight. Get in, get out. Save one person. Then what? You'll know. So do that. Do what Batman told Flash in the movie, and let's save some people. This movie is actually going to save some people's lives. It's going to help some people with depression. It's going to help some people who can't see the light of day in this world with so much bad news around them. This movie is going to help them. So recommend the movie. Share the movie. Share my videos about the movie. I got some stuff, some little spoiler stuff, which has to do with some of the Easter eggs in the movie. And if you haven't checked out my video on the Flash versus Superman, the race, please check that out and share it on Twitter, on Facebook. I'll do the same. Also, let's link up on Twitter, because I can be on Twitter. So just give me your Twitter handles down below, and I'll go and log into Twitter, and we'll link up on Twitter, and we'll share the crap out of it to everybody of this movie. Let's have some fun. Let's go. Let's have some fun. This movie was fun. Let's share the fun. Let's share the good stuff. I don't mean fun in a Thor Ragnarok way, but nonetheless, you know what I mean. Let's show people what a fan really is. An exuberant fan, a happy fan, a satisfied fan. Alright? So guys, if you want to do this, leave your Twitter links or just leave your Twitter name or something in the comment section below so I can contact you on Twitter, and we're going to go bonkers with this movie. Let's have some fun and let's spread this positive energy, because coming together is a very good thing. Keeping dialogue is a very good thing. So let's do it. In spite of everything we've seen, let's start cheering Justice League like crazy. The fans make a movie or they break it. And we, the fans, we're going to make this movie happen. How many of you guys are with me? Let's do this. Cyborg to Flash. Yeah, baby. You guys have a great one. And at the end of the day, we will say, booyah, baby. Booyah.